Hello there, is that Ayanna?
Hi, it's me.
Hi, how you doing? It's DJ Gloss here from Sound Fusion Radio.
Lovely. Okay, go for it.
Okie dokie. So, how are you today, anyway, to start with?
I'm pretty good. Thank you.
Good. It's nice to hear you. And so, whereabouts are you at the moment? You're in the UK, aren't you?
Yeah, North London.
North London. You're the other side of London to where we are. We're South London here. So
Okay.
Right. Okie dokie. I just thought I'd get an idea of where you were, because I know you're, well, judging by what's written about you, you're a bit of a traveller as well. So.
Oh yeah, true.
There we go. So, are you ready for me to start firing a few questions at you?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okie dokie. So what got you started with music in the first place? What was the thing when you were younger that sort of headed you in that direction?
Well, I started piano lessons. My mum started the piano lessons with me when I was 4.
Wow.
So that was kind of my first. Well, I suppose before that, she had a tape of Sweet Honey and the Rock songs when I was about 3, and I sang that a lot. That was probably my first start.
Wonderful. So, who were your favourite groups and inspirations then, as you were sort of growing up? Who sort of led the way for you, so to speak?
So yeah, Sweet Honey and the Rock, Terence Trent D'Arby, Anita Baker, Sting, Nina Simone, Stevie, MJ, Beethoven, Bach. I suppose those were like early sort of people.
That's great. Well, it's a great mixture of influences there. You know, you've got from the classical across to, you know, the soul side of things, and then you got the sort of a little, slightly more R&B sort of feel in there. So that's great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, what started you playing the cello then?
With the cello, I was in secondary school. I just sort of started secondary school, and because I could already play the piano, they wanted to keep me occupied and said I could start a second instrument. And so I had a choice, and my mum said not a woodwind or a brass instrument or the drums.
Right, and that was an ear thing, was it? That was an ear protection thing.
And then I thought my hands were quite big, so I wouldn't be able to play the violin. And then I thought the double bass was just too big, and so the cello seemed to be the best kind of fit.
Well, it looks, you know, the cello is a great instrument, isn't it? It's just such a wonderful instrument. I mean, I can sort of play a double bass a bit, because I can play an electric bass, and the string cello is the same, you know. But just provided I can find the right place on a fretless fretboard, I'm okay. But no, the cello is just, I mean, because you actually bow it as well, which I guess is, you know, is just lovely. It's just got a great
it's versatile.
Very much so. And you've played with the BBC Symphony Orchestra?
Yes, so I arranged for them orchestral arrangements for urban classic, and I think it was a symphony who did a project with Hugh Masekela as well.
Wow. That's great. That's absolutely lovely. And of course you worked with the likes of Courtney Pine and Omar?
Yeah. I performed with Omar, and I was in Courtney's Jazz Warriors UK tour, and the recording on the album, the Afro-Peons album. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to see Courtney Pine on Friday, actually, the radio station. We've got tickets for that. And, we did interview him earlier on, about a couple of weeks ago on our Just Jazz programme. He was interviewed.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so we've had some connection with Courtney. What was that like, touring with him? It must be amazing.
Yeah, being on the road with Courtney was definitely sort of like going to school, because everyone in the band was so experienced, and I felt like it was some form of musical apprenticeship. So it felt like a really good growing period, and I had a chance to arrange one of my songs for the band, and I did 2 songs actually for the band, so that was really nice. I managed to kind of develop myself as an arranger and build my confidence in the material as well as playing Courtney's material, and just getting the hang of being in front of a live audience in that sense.
Wonderful.
Brilliant.
That's great. And what about Omar? I mean, working with him, what was that like?
Yeah, so it wasn't like a tour or anything. It was really a special kind of performance, and we duetted on his cover of Be Thankful, and that was like quite spectacular. You know, when you're sort of standing there and you just think, wow, you know, I'm being myself, and we had a good communication on stage, and that was really lovely. So
that's lovely, absolutely lovely. And I noticed that you are the only non-American performer to win Amateur Night at the Apollo Theatre in Harlem. I mean, how did that feel?
Well, I basically was in New York to do a master's in classical composition, and my friend Pete Edwards, who's a fantastic jazz pianist, he came over, and just as a tourist, and we hung out, and I was taking him, you know, through various parts of Manhattan, and we were in Harlem, you know, seeing the sights, and we passed the theatre. He said, "Let's go in." So I said, "Okay, yeah, let's go in." And the day that we chose to go in, they had the first day of the auditions for the Amateur Night Live. Nice. And Pete was like, "You should come back, you know, bring the cello and audition." And I said, no, Pete, it's not for me. You know, they're like 10-year-olds starting out with me and stuff. And I'm like, oh, God. I don't think it's quite the right place. But something said I should do it. And I went back the next day and I auditioned and I got in. And then sort of a year later and 4 rounds later, I kept winning each round. So it was a good decision.
Wow. So it's quite a major thing then. I mean, because you get the impression that you're just kind of wandering, do your thing, and people decide whether you win or not, you know, but there's obviously a load more to it than that.
There are loads of heats and, you know, week after week, different people. It takes ages to get down to the semi-finals, even those months. So, yeah, it was quite a big thing.
That's
and
amazing.
each round kind of becomes bigger and more pressure, if you will.
Yeah, and I guess you have to have sort of new material each time you go back in and so on.
Yeah.
I get it. Wow. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So it's quite a thing then. It's quite a big thing. And then, Mobo nomination in 2012. I mean, how fantastic is that? That's brilliant.
I know. Wonderful. That was very unexpected. I didn't even know. I think I logged on Facebook and had a bunch of congratulations messages, and I was like, what for? And then, so that was that. It was really surprising. It was lovely. I had a fantastic night. I met Dionne Warwick and just had some really good conversations. And
wow.
It was a brilliant night. It was nice to just sort of be in that environment, to be recognised for doing something you love to do, and to just enjoy yourself, you know. There was no pressure. I mean, obviously, you could, you know, you wanted people to vote for you, but it didn't feel like, you know, I wasn't upset I didn't win. I just had a good night, and I assume I'll be back at some point.
Wonderful.
So the story continues. Yeah,
it's lovely to be there, and you know, to be on, and wow, what a lovely experience. And
that's it. It's my first sort of big major nomination, and so it was just lovely. You know, I really enjoyed it, and I had a wonderful dress. I had great shoes, and it was a good night.
Sounds great. There you go.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's lovely. And, I mean, there are so many strings to your bow, Ayanna, aren't there? I mean, production, writing, singing, the cello. You've got, you do mentoring as well, don't you? And all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about all the other things that you do as part of that, part of what you do, so to speak.
Yeah, so I suppose, there's the live performer and the songwriter and composer. I also do orchestral arrangements for various projects, usually when it's a cross-section of 2 different styles, classical and something either soul or urban, for want of a better word. So I find myself involved in projects like that, which is great because of my classical composition experience, and I'm able to sort of arrange and orchestrate. But I also dance,
Wonderful.
which makes its way into my performance sometimes.
Brilliant.
And as a mentor and a teacher as well, I'm a vocal coach and a piano teacher. I'm also a mentor for individual music students. So through various organizations, I get appointed young people, and I stay with them, and I act as a sounding board, and I suggest and help them to reflect upon their own journey, really, and give help where I can. And so at the moment, I've got five mentees.
Wow.
That I'm working with, and it's great because it's lovely. It's sort of a voluntary thing, and it's just nice to stay connected and help people and just share your experience.
I think from that point of view, it's an extremely giving thing to do for an artist, and the experience that people bring in those situations is something that those people that you're mentoring perhaps wouldn't be able to gain for themselves, in a sensible amount of time. And I think that kind of giving is very nice, and you don't see it quite as much outside of the music industry, I don't think. But then, most of what I do is in the music industry, so I guess that's where I see it,
Yeah, I think it's such a sort of individual kind of pursuit. Some people do, some people don't, and maybe it comes and goes in waves. Some people are just so unbelievably busy they just can't. They don't have the time. So I'm thankful that I've got the opportunity to do it. It's brilliant.
That's nice. Yeah, some people are a little bit busy about being busy, really, aren't they? But there you go. It's life, isn't it? So, working with a sitarist, Anushka Shanar. Now, the sitar looks like an incredibly difficult instrument to me. It just looks incredibly complicated, but that's just my concept of it. So, what's it like? I mean, because you actually arranged music for this as well, didn't you?
Yeah, so I haven't arranged music for this. This is her. She recorded an album with Nora Jones last year,
yes.
And she invited me to sort of pretty much do what Nora does on the album, on the tour. In terms of arranging, the band that's on tour is a slightly different lineup to the album, so we kind of worked out how we would represent the music on the album as a group. Yeah. But we weren't starting from scratch as co-collaborators per se. But it was nice to be able to be a part of the band in a way that's unique to us as players with her on tour. And it is an incredibly complicated instrument. It's very beautiful. There's lots of different tuning considerations to take into account. And I think she's a virtuoso, and so she makes it look really easy.
Most people that are good at things do, don't they? They make things look incredibly easy that are incredibly difficult. But wonderful.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you. And so you've got my website, or do you want me to give that to you now?
I have your website. It was just really more to ask you to point. If you'd like to tell the listeners about your websites and social media sites, please do so.
Yeah, absolutely. All my social media links and information about my upcoming shows are on my website. That's www.ayannamusic.com, AYANNA music.com. And you can also stay in touch with me there.
That's absolutely wonderful. And if there's anything else that you'd like to say to the listeners worldwide, because we are a global station too, then please feel free to do so.
Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in and to listening to my music. And be yourself and share. Making things up now. I suppose a huge thank you.
It's marvellous. That actually works really well. I love that. It's so personal. It's wonderful. Thank you very much indeed.
And you too, darling. Have a great evening.
And
I'll see you next week.
Yep, I'll see you next week at Music Connects, and you have a blessed and beautiful day. You take care.
Brilliant. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.